So I think brick and mortar businesses in the TCG play space are having a little bit of an issue. And this might be around the Pokemon market. If you sell other TCGs, I think you're probably in a pretty good, you're an okay spot to kind of continue to build your business. But if you're a store that's specifically selling, a brick and mortar store that's specifically selling Pokemon cards, I think you have a lot of challenges right now. One, that we're still in a bull market. People still want Pokemon cards. I see Pokemon cards sell every single day. However, I think this current situation where there's a lot of businesses that are trying to sell Pokemon cards, a lot of brick and mortar businesses that are trying to sell Pokemon cards, I think it's challenging to be thriving in this space in terms of selling. And yes, you can flip cards all day long. It's not that hard. You can set up a TCG player account, you can set up an eBay account, you can set up your own website and sell Pokemon cards that way. But I think if you wanted to go the traditional brick and mortar route, I think you should really reconsider if that's the right avenue for you. So, what I want to talk about in this video, and for those of you who don't know me, my name's Stefan. I run chaoscard.com, where we specialize in selling Japanese booster boxes, and we have some English product on there, basically at MSRP. So if you want to jump on there and buy some product, I'd love to help you out. Maybe make a deal. I do have Japanese boxes on there as well. You can visit us at chaoscard.com. But anyway, in this video, I wanted to kind of explain some reasons why I did not start a brick and mortar business. A lot of these things of why I didn't start a brick and mortar business are pretty much obvious, and it's pretty much obvious for anybody that wants to start a business. But I wanted to talk about those things on how I look at them and how I'm going to kind of consider those things in the future when I'm building my business. So the first thing that I wanted to talk about is debt. The whole goal with this business that I was trying to start is I wanted to do it with no debt up front, because I have a house, I have kids, I have a family, I have a job, and some of the money that I had lying around, I wanted to put in this and start it. And I really don't think I'm in a good position to use leverage to build my business. And I think that's what a lot of people in this space that are doing a traditional brick and mortar business, they're in a lot of debt. I had watched a video recently. I can't remember the exact YouTuber, but he had started a business. He does a whatnot stream. He has a brick and mortar business selling Pokemon, and it sounds like his online business is thriving. But the brick and mortar side of things, like nobody is coming into his shop. He's struggling to stay open because the more time he's staying open, the less money he's making. And so his hours are constantly changing because he can't really keep his doors open. And I think this is a challenge for a lot of people in just the Pokemon space. If you're selling like Magic, Riftbound, what else is there? One Piece, all that kind of stuff. You can bring a community of people. You can have them play at your store. You can keep doors open that way. But if you're just selling Pokemon cards in terms of like making a profit around those, I think that's really where you're going to be challenged, because Pokemon you can sell anywhere. You can sell on TCG Player, you can sell on eBay, you can sell on your own website, like I mentioned before. But having people come to your store is really challenging, right? You have to have marketing, you have to have a good storefront, you have to you have to make sure that people know you are there. But that was the biggest challenge for me, is having debt. I didn't want to leverage anything, and I wasn't really in a space to get leverage, because if you have overhead and stuff like that, I don't have the capital to work through that. So the next point would be that starting a brick and mortar business would be super risky, and I kind of touched on some points with that. You have to have people coming to your store and buying product. If you're selling other things there's more incentive for people to come there. But if you're just selling Pokemon, I think the best way to sell it is online. You can use TCG Player and eBay and stuff like that too. But another point is everybody else is starting a business. I've seen a ton of card shops start up here, And these people that are starting the card shops, I think they probably have a little bit more of a background than I do in terms of TCGs. So like there's a couple game stores in my area that I like to go to, and they seem like they're doing pretty well. They have distribution. They're constantly making sales. They constantly have a community of people that come there to enjoy playing TCGs, to kind of browse product, that kind of thing. So I think as long as you have a customer base for your brick and mortar business, I think you're probably doing okay. But if you don't, that might be pretty challenging if you don't have a lot of capital to back it up, especially if you're in debt. So the next point would be not enough sales to pay for expenses. So if you were to start a Pokemon business, a brick and mortar one, you have to have cash flow. You have to have people constantly buying product. And this person that I'd mentioned before that was struggling to keep his doors open, it sounded like his Whatnot stream was doing a lot of the sales to where he can kind of stay open. But if you have a portion of your business that's kind of draining your other portion of your business, it's going to be challenging to kind of keep moving forward and growing your business that way. So the next point would be distribution. And I think distribution is a touchy topic. When I first started, I was under the impression that distribution, you needed it to start a business. But that's not the case. You can always acquire product at a percentage, sell on TCG Player or eBay, or sell on your website. But it comes back to having a constant sales throughput to where people are buying constant product. Because if you have product on a website, but nobody knows about your website, you're not going to sell product, right? So getting your name out there, marketing, that kind of thing is really going to help you kind of grow and scale. But having distribution, I think for me, because I didn't have distribution up front, there are other ways. And one of the ways that I used was Japanese product. And I think you need to be really diligent when you find Japanese product. You need to contact lots of suppliers to figure out who's going to work best with your business. And I have a few. Some are higher priced than others, and so they all have their perks, right? One of the people I work with, they ship really fast, so I can get product really fast, but they're a little bit more expensive. And then the other person that I work with directly is they have good prices, but sometimes they take a little bit longer to ship to you. So you kind of have to figure out what is going to be the best avenue for you to get product. So I'm constantly getting product. I'm not selling as much as I should. So the current throughput of Japanese product is a little bit challenging, just because there's now, with the recent sets like Perfect Order, Chaos Rising, and Pitch Black, there's a lot of product on shelves. So people aren't really interested in finding Japanese product of the sister sets from Japan. So those sets don't really sell really well. Some people really like Japanese, so I'm able to provide the Japanese cards for them. But those sets, I have a bunch of stock just kind of chilling here, so I don't actually sell that much of it. But sets like Ascended Heroes or the Mega Dream set, Japanese, they sell really well, because Ascended Heroes is still hard to get here in the US. And so Mega Dream kind of fills that void where people aren't able to get product. So the last thing that I wanted to talk about is selling other TCGs. And I think having a brick and mortar store is a benefit if you want to sell like Riftbound, Magic. I know you cannot get Magic unless you're a brick and mortar business, because I know they focus a lot on the community and having people come and play their TCG and all that kind of stuff. So they really want the Wizards Play Network. They really want you to have a brick and mortar store so you can support that. Just recently I've been buying some Magic product, and I really love Magic. I think the cards are great. The TCG is super fun. But obviously I can't get it because I'm just selling online. So like if I can find some product that's at a decent price to where I can maybe resell that's a good avenue for me to do. But I would love to get it in the future. So maybe that brick and mortar avenue I will be taking in the future. But as of right now, I'm just going to stick with Pokemon and just have that available for anybody that wants to buy it. So those are some of my thoughts. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you've learn something or kind of help you maybe decide if you want to build a Pokemon business in the future. I know that's a big topic for a lot of people. A lot of people love the game. They want to make a little extra money. That's a great way to sell cards. And it's actually a great way to collect too. If you're selling cards and flipping them so you can fund your own collection, I think that's a great way to do it. Cards are super expensive, so if you pull a cool card that you don't really care for, you can sell that and buy cards that you really care about. So anyway, are you starting a Pokemon card business in 2026? What are some challenges that you're working through? I'd love to hear that in the comment section. So if you want to throw that down there, I'd love to have a chat about it. But anyway, take it easy, guys. Hope you're doing well, and hope you're thriving out there. So we'll talk to you later.